Hey. No.
What a week!
Disappointing.
What a week opening! Who knew that starting with the
So can we tell everyone what just happened?
Yes.
I don't know about you guys, but what happened to me is I had two things to remember today. That Home Depot closed at a certain time and that I had this recording session at a certain time.
Mm-hmm.
And then the power went out and I mixed up which was which. And while doing it mermaid style, I got a text from you guys about, I'm sorry, I didn't know it was time to start. And I was like, oh, fuck, I didn't know it was time to start either. Because
well, did you get to Home Depot?
I thought Home Depot was closed, and I was bummed out about that.
All my plans have changed now.
Did you get to Home Depot?
No, but oddly enough, this works out better. I will get to Home Depot after this, because they don't close till 8 when I thought we were recording.
So Mike is in a power out situation, so we are beholden to his battery power. He's going to keep us updated.
Yeah.
And so we'll see how long this episode goes.
If I drop out, just carry on without me and remember me.
Yeah, but we won't start a second episode if you drop out in the first episode. You know.
Okay, and at the end of this one, we'll check in. I may have plenty of power. I don't know how much this takes up, but I shut off everything else. So
we'll see. We'll see. All right. So welcome to Power Pals. It's a show.
That's pretty on brand.
It's a show you love, and it's about nerdy stuff and dirty stuff.
Flirty, squirty, hurdy stuff.
Yeah, but flirty and squirty and hurdy for sure.
Definitely.
Not wordy. I don't know why anyone would pick wordy as a descriptive word.
I think we got wordy one time. And that was back when we had 2 more people on the podcast.
Yeah, we worked on a project that had wordy in it that made no sense to me. Anyway, so
that's right.
And
so we'll get into it. It nearly did something.
Nearly got us incarcerated, I think.
Yeah.
We're definitely on the list somewhere. That's for sure.
For crimes of the heart.
That's closer to the truth than people think it is. It's so much closer to the truth. Dude,
is
Jesus
really?
Christ. Yes, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
We were going to be arrested?
Not arrested, but we could have been in a courtroom. We could have been in a courtroom.
Yeah. If we'd have had to give depositions
to
about
describe, like, now, what did you mean when you said,
I don't want to talk about it too much, but I will say, if we had to give depositions, because I had a nightmare about it, and I remember that Mike, you and me were laughing hysterically, like cry laughing as they were reading some stuff.
Yeah.
That's a good one, yeah.
And
Stuff that we actually said.
And then, holy Jesus, they've put us in contempt of court, and that made it even funnier. Like I couldn't fucking stop laughing. And then
I could easily see that happening, and then me knowing you laughing about how I was like, I'd be like, he is just nervous and doesn't want to be laughing right now. And that would be funny to me. And it would just snowball even worse.
Dude, that shit is so funny. Laughing when you're not supposed to, it's the best.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of all I do anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I eat when I'm not supposed to. I'd say that's more what I do.
Yeah.
We put out a feeler for questions. Did we get any response on that?
Oh, heck yeah, we did. And I've got the Twitter pulled up right now to prove it. So I'm going to read you. Now, this question, I know we've been together. We've been married for what, like 10 years now? I know that we've gotten this question before. However, it does kind of pertain to what we were just talking to. So,
Which is, do you guys do butt stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
They still don't know. They
You
still
guys
don't
kiss
know.
on the first date. Yeah. Okay. So Proxygate, which is at John3787 at Twitter. Hello there. His question is, how did you all meet and end up doing the podcast together? And is there any other work you all did together?
Well, we just talked about the other work that
Speaking of,
nearly put us away for a very long time.
Mike and I met at 12 Shiny Nickels, which is a comedy show run by a maniac who was clinically insane. Allegedly.
Yes.
Allegedly clinically insane. Mike was performing with a picture of himself on his shirt, and I thought it was really funny, and I went up to him. I went up to Kyle Kinane and I said, "Hey, do you play video games?" And he goes, I don't have time to fucking play video fucking games. And then so I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to talk to you, I guess. And then I looked over at Mike Black and I was like, I bet this guy plays video games. And I was like, hey, do you play video games? And you're like, yeah, I'm playing Fallout 3. And then we started talking about Fallout 3 right away, and we became friends then, pretty much.
The beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Yes.
I was like 10 years ago.
God, yeah. Longer, probably.
Maybe 11 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. And we did that. It was like a naval base show. Was that the first time we met?
No. We had met actually 2 years before that at the story I just told you of the first time we met each other.
Right, but I thought that was at the naval base. But I guess not. It was somewhere else.
That was an action figure therapy show. This was
right
2 years before that at 12 Shiny Nickels at Sunset and Gardner. At the Sunset Gardner stages.
It's Kyle Kinane that threw me off because I just don't associate him with that.
Dan pissed him off that night, and he wouldn't do his show anymore after that.
Okay. Now it's all making sense. But
how did y'all meet Jerry?
Huh?
I met Jerry the same night. The same night
you met Mike?
Yeah, and the three of us were talking about Fallout together.
I think that was my first time meeting Jerry also.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, I think it was. Isn't that weird?
So I met same like.
So we were literally put together by a lunatic.
Yeah.
I met Avery without knowing that I met Avery. I met Avery when they released Skyrim on 11/11/11 at the Burbank GameStop, and she gave me my collector's edition of Skyrim.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Jerry forever ago, and once again, but it was like the same thing where I knew Jerry, but I didn't know that any of you guys. And so we had unofficially met before at work, Andrew and I. But then when we like re-met through Jerry, it was like, wait a minute, you work at the games? You're the chick who works at the GameStop? It was also one of those that like. It was kind of a destination GameStop, so we had a lot of like the same customers. So it was one of those things where like I had met Jerry through that, and I think he invited me to a few of his shows, and then we ended up. I think it must have been something where he brought in Andrew or something one time, and we were like, oh, I know you, and I think we all just got to talking about similar interests, and that was pretty much how that.
Yeah, but the first real time was, I think it's the same for Mike, was at a job that we can't mention.
Right, but it was at the Mexican food place, right, where that's where we all first got together, right? We all had, like, went to a taco bar.
Yeah, for, like, the business dinner, yes.
Yeah.
No,
and we all dressed what we thought was business appropriate.
That was like the celebratory. That was the, like, this is something, like.
No, we met at a writers meeting inside of a building downtown, downtown Burbank.
I don't remember that because I wasn't paying attention during that meeting, but I do remember
where we wrote those sketches.
Having tacos with people.
Yeah, that's where we wrote the offending sketches. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah.
Can we tell them what the offending sketches were about? Because I'm pretty sure
I
we've
could
talked about
say
it on
the
the
thing
show.
that made people upset. I could say that. Yeah. It was
Yes.
about if you were stuck on a. I think we've talked about it before. If you were stuck on a planet with My Little Ponies,
Maroon.
and they were
like
all
forever, no hope of return.
Right.
they
as
were
far as
all
we knew.
they were all of age in pony years. How long would it be until you fucked one of them?
Before you
Right.
assimilated to the local lifestyle, yeah.
And Jerry
Yeah.
said he'd never fuck one
Ever.
ever.
Which is just not true. Eventually, you go native.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can't imagine an average person going their whole life, like someone who was already not a virgin, who knew what sex was, then going their
Right.
whole life never having sex again. Especially not somebody like Jerry, you know, like
And-
all of those
yeah.
things put together, like, nope, not gonna happen.
Yeah, no,
I
he was a
see
liar.
him more inventing a new religion and tricking them into fucking him, but not calling it fucking or something like that.
Yeah, maybe. I remember being very disappointed that he just wouldn't admit that he would fuck one of them. Here's the
Maybe
deal.
it's because we
They're not-
wouldn't specify that it was kiss fucking, because maybe he would have been in if he knew that kiss fucking was gonna happen.
How the fuck
Right,
are you
'cause
gonna
it's-
just fuck a pony?
I was gonna say it's much harder to kiss fuck a pony. What you'd have to do is you'd have to get another pony for the kissing part while
That's
you're
just
fucking
fine.
the other pony.
That's cool, yeah.
Hey, if you're already not into having sex with
Yeah.
a pony,
Now you-
and how are you gonna get two of them at once, man? It's not like
Well-
you're doing improv with them, you know? Like,
It's in for a penny, in for a pound at that point.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
I've already gone this far, so I may as well get two ponies.
yeah, but you gotta talk the ponies into it too. That's the thing. It's like
Ponies are stupid, Andrew.
No,
Ponies
these
are
are
notorious.
the whole point of this is that they are not actual horses. They are cartoon humanoid looking ponies, you know?
Well,
Right, but they
Ponies
don't
with-
seem very bright on the show.
No, they don't.
Dude, they have houses, they have stoves, you know, like they're not that dumb.
They're allowed
Like,
to operate
Dumb
machinery.
people have stoves. I mean,
Yeah,
stoves-
but they've got to be a human level intelligence or it's
And-
super gross. It's super gross. I'm not if I went to a planet full of like
no, this isn't bestiality.
mentally
Oh, no, they speak fully formed, like grammatically correct sentences. They're sentient, you know. They're definitely
Right.
like human level as far as consciousness goes.
yeah.
It's just a
Yeah,
matter
that's all you need. That's
of
all
the
you need.
chassis, you know.
That's all
I
you
don't
need.
see
And
why
plus-
anyone was offended by this.
Mm-mm.
and plus, like on top of that, they aren't horses. That was what Jerry kept getting hung up on. They're not
Right.
horses. They've got giant
He was
anime
talking about
eyes.
size things that
Yeah,
weren't
yeah.
compatible, and we're like, no,
Oh,
he does not have a horse package, you know.
he thought, yeah, he thought they were expecting horse packages.
Do you think that's why he got upset?
Yeah.
Yeah, he couldn't learn to eat pussy for like 2 seconds. He could have taken a time out and been like, let me get some other skills on the plate here. He's just going to give up entirely as an astronaut stuck on a planet
I don't know.
before he
That's,
even checks. Before he even checks to make sure.
That is making up for quite a lot, though.
It's really unscientific, I gotta say, to not even give it, like,
Yeah.
you know.
I don't know,
So-
man. I don't know. He was pretty upset about it. He didn't like it. He didn't like the idea of it.
No, he
you
was
know?
really put off by even the intimation, you know, the suggestion of the conversation.
Here's the deal. You put eyelashes
On anything, really.
I mean, eyelashes and the capability of human expressions and human hairdos and being able to talk to you, you're gonna fuck it on a planet you crash land on if you're in a spaceship. It's just what's gonna happen, you know.
So you would fuck the Whitney Cummings robot?
Yeah, I would do. Yes, yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
I would do a lot of stuff.
Yes.
I would have.
I would fuck that robot too.
I would have put googly eyes and lashes on Wilson. And I would have fucked him.
That is the darker part of the conversation about that movie. Is that the truth is Wilson was getting fucked quite a bit on that island.
They never address that, do they? How sad his beat-offs would have been, because that should have been a third of his life on that island. It's just sad.
It had
beat-offs.
to look like a gnarled up totem pole by the time he left that island.
Anytime there's a movie about that, about like a guy going on a crusade or like a really epic struggle, like, I mean, we don't discuss like there's no like bad poop sessions, there's no sad beat offs, there's just like all glory and like duty, you know. There's none
no
of
roids, no, you know, the closest they got was a toothache.
Yeah.
I don't buy it.
I don't buy it either, man. I don't buy it. You don't think he finally found like some kind of like pool of water where he could see his own dick and was like, oh man, look at that dick, you know, and then cranked one out on top of that pool of water?
Look at
like
that.
looked at his own butt, looked at his own butt in the reflection. He's like, it's the only other human I've got right here is me.
Might
You know,
as
might as well look at my butt.
Wait, you think he, when stranded on a desert island, beat off to his own gnarly ass reflection?
Yes, Mike. I'm telling you, that's what everyone would do.
His own unbathed, dreadlocked, just disgusting,
That
fucked up.
It is the only human flesh on the island.
I don't think most people do that. I think they fantasize about other people.
No, they look
Even in
at
the worst case
no.
scenario.
They wait till it rains. They look for a reflecting pool on the beach. They squat over it and jerk off.
We all do it.
If I were going to do that, the sight of me jerking off to me would be enough of a turnoff.
I've heard that. You know how many times someone has told me that when I've revealed the fact that I am okay with beating off to my own reflection is every time. Every
I
time.
don't think you're okay with it. I think you're all for it.
I love it. In fact, yes, I do love it. I do love it. I don't know why. It is weird. I get it. But I thought everyone was that way. You know?
Nobody else is that way. You are the only one who is that way. Of dudes, anyway. I don't know about girls, but very few dudes would jerk off to their own reflection.
You're missing out, guys.
I was telling Stephen Glickman about our virtual trip to the strip club. Do you recall this?
Yeah.
In
Yes,
Grand
I
Theft Auto?
was super nervous about it.
So you killed her out of
I
super
didn't kill her.
nervousness.
I didn't kill her. Someone ran when I went outside with her. Someone accidentally ran off the road and killed her. Remember?
Oh, is that what happened? I thought you shot her. I thought you got like you pressed the wrong button and shot her or something.
Some idiot in a red car smashed into both of us and killed us as soon as we stepped out of the strip club.
No, I remember for certain that she was dead, and you were like, "Well, what happens now?" And I was like, nothing. She's fucking dead." And now you tried to go back in the strip club, and they would not let you in because within 50 seconds of you leaving with the stripper,
Oh,
had
yeah,
died.
that's right. And then the guy who ran her over. Oh, this is what happened. I came out. You said that she would like suck my dick in a car, but I didn't have a car. So I tried to carjack a guy.
That's what it was. Yes, you
I
tried
didn't
to
know what I
carjack.
was doing, and then he ran over the stripper, and then she was dead. And then I tried to go back in the strip club. They wouldn't let me in. And then the guy who I tried to carjack was walking up behind me and then killed me. He beat me to death.
It was the greatest death of all time.
Wow.
It was a stupid death. It was
That
a
someone
very
went
stupid
from
death.
zero crime in their life at all to carjacking, causing
Murder.
the death of a stripper, and then getting
Taken.
shot in the head in front of a club.
Yeah.
One
No, I
night.
think I
Oh.
was punched. Here's the deal. I think I got hit a little bit by the car, so it was already low.
Yeah.
And he just
Right.
hit me one time from behind with his fist, and it goes wasted. And so I was like, wait, what do I do? Where do I go?
Oh, so wait, he beat you to death. He didn't shoot you.
Well, one punch is not. I get it's technically beating me to death, but I'd say that the car did the heavy lifting.
Being beaten to death by a in front of a strip club is a pretty great way for anyone to go out.
But it was also because Dan wouldn't let me switch the x-axis or the y. Which one is the up and down axis?
Y-axis, I
Is it the
believe.
y-axis? He wouldn't let me switch it, inverse it, because I can't control it the way it's normally set up. Because when I'm doing this with my thumb to look, I always pull back to look up because you pull back with your neck muscles. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me
That's
to look
true.
up by pushing up, you know?
I do that too, yeah.
Now, do you remember your impression of the strip club?
I remember being very nervous because you were telling me when to cop a feel on her because the bookie wasn't looking. I couldn't enjoy it. Like,
Yes,
I couldn't enjoy it. I couldn't
the
enjoy it.
bouncer kept ducking in to see if things were all right. He's like, "Are you trying to touch one of our ladies?" And you were kind of like,
Yeah, I didn't do a good job. I didn't do a good job the first time I went to Jumbo's, man. It's too overwhelming for me. Like, I looked like a fat kid in a candy store. You know, like I was like, it's all Wonka bars.
I feel like a tourist no matter where I go and no matter how, like, like I can understand logically, like, what works, like how it goes within a strip club. But the moment that you get in there, you turn into that, like, hello, friends, I am a local here as well. And everyone's like, leave, you need to get out of here.
It was too much. One of my friends was so drunk that he had shit his pants.
Oh,
no.
He was sitting at a table by himself, and it was for a bachelor party, and he was doing that thing that really, really drunk people do, where they just start nodding yes to make sure everyone knows that they're not wasted, even though no one's talking to them. So he was just occasionally going like this, and then I was like, "Oh man, what's up, dude?" And then I was like, "Oh fuck!" So I'm stuck like shit. I turn around and like, oh shit, man, I think he shit his pants. I turn around and Nikki Sixx is right there laughing at the fact I said, I think he just shit his pants. Too much! That's too much! And then I turn and there's a girl bending over with a thong on stage, and she locks eyes with me because I'm like, like that. And she does the middle finger right over her butthole, and I immediately just throw money. And I was like, I can't handle this. There's too many. So
she flipped you off and you threw money at her.
Yeah, well, because she put her middle finger on her butthole, dude.
Oh, I see. She knows her market.
Yeah, really. She read you like a book.
Dude, I mean, I feel like, can't you spot an ass man?
No, I think only other ass people can spot it. Like, I think that you could probably fly under the radar with a group of normies, you know? But
yeah.
Are you guys ready for some more questions?
Yes.
Did we sufficiently answer that?
The one that we went to? Yeah. Okay. So this is from Nathaniel, see it broadly at Twitter. He says, what movies have you seen lately? What movies have you seen only because of the lockdown? I think that's a cool question.
Yeah. I saw Hamilton yesterday. That was much better than I expected it to be. I thought it was going to be like I'm sorry?
Like, would you have sat out without the lockdown, or did you watch it because you?
I would have waited to see it like in an actual touring company or something like that. But because they made such a big deal of it on Disney Plus, and they were like, it's the original Broadway cast and all that, I was like, I'm kind of leery of seeing a stage play filmed.
Yeah.
You know, but they did a really excellent job of editing it where the focus really went where you would want it to go at different times throughout the show. And also, I was just expecting a much more of a lampoon of history.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty straight up, just this is what happened, but set to music, you know. And I thought they did an excellent job. And there were like 2 points in there where I got kind of choked up about what was going on. And, you know, it reminded me of the thing you hear about horror movies where it's like, make people care about the characters before you start slaughtering them. With this, you very much know where it's all heading. And everything they did added weight to that moment. So I was really impressed with it.
Well, that's cool, man. Have I watched a movie over lockdown? Man, I don't think I did. How crazy is that? But I don't like movies anymore.
At all?
Not really.
Like Lawnmower Man, you've ascended?
Yes, I've ascended. Yeah. I
am beyond movies now.
I don't know if I like the format of movies, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like the 2-hour chunk of time for a story, I feel like it's too long for me to want to sit down and watch it, but too short for me to get invested in the characters. So that's why I like a limited edition. The limited edition series stuff that's been going on.
Yeah.
That's kind of like how I like it, man. You know, like it just it just feels like I can get into it better.
Limited edition series are fingering their buttholes in front of you as we speak.
She just knew what she was doing. She just called it immediately.
And we're in the golden age of that kind of storytelling. Audiences are more sophisticated. Productions are more sophisticated. I've been on and off watching Westworld. I'm about halfway through it now.
Yeah.
And where that series started to where it is now, I'm at like season 3. It went so much farther than I expected the entire series to go already, that now I'm like, I can't wait to see what happens next each time I watch it, you know?
Yeah, I really loved season 1 until the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I got kind of mad at it because I know that a choice was made that they made out of like a scheduling thing or something, you know, and we can just do spoilers because everyone should have seen season 1 by now. So
Yeah.
Spoilers are coming. I loved the romance between Dolores and William.
It's the most compelling thing in the entire show. Like they're still calling back to it, like 2 seasons later, you know.
And then to find out, when I found out that William and the Men in Black were supposed to be originally 2 different characters, you know, and then I'm like, okay, well, what's going to happen? They just never get back to. They never get back to it in a satisfying way all through season 2. Like, because I couldn't wait for Dolores and William to join forces. They joined forces for 10 seconds in season 2, you know? And then I'm like, they could have been doing this the whole time, and it would have been awesome as shit. You know, both of them being evil badasses. Like, but then also the actor who plays William, who is, I don't know his name, but he's the McPoyle guy from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah.
You will go home! He is so fucking good. And that romance is so awesome. I found myself in season 1 just being like, yeah, to all the other stuff until it cut back to scenes with Dolores and William. Because I'm just a sucker for that kind of thing. But the idea of, he knows that this thing is actually feeling things, and now he's feeling things for this machine. There's something about that kind of story to me that is
but that even
really
as much
appealing.
As she's actually feeling things for him, she's still at the end of the day, like it doesn't the fact that she's a robot doesn't stop her from feeling things. But if they decide to wipe her memory and give her a clean slate, she can't find her way back to her memories for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when he comes back later and she's like ensconced in a love storyline with somebody totally different, to the point that she doesn't even recognize him, whereas he had kind of like put everything on the line to fight for her humanity and insist that like the love between them was real, and then to kind of see her behaving in a way through no fault of her own, but behaving in the way that he was like warned against, you know, that Logan was telling him like, don't be stupid, she's just a robot, you know. It was really heartbreaking because it was kind of like she was kind of doomed to do exactly the thing that,
Yeah.
that he was believing that she was bigger than, you know. And
That's
Yeah.
how I felt when I was watching it.
Like she wanted to, I mean, I think she wanted to stay in love with him, but I mean, if they get into her brain and her memories, she can't, you know, there's nothing to be done about it.
Avery, can you check your internet connection real quick? Because you're breaking up pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah, give me a sec.
Yeah, you're okay now, but it was getting a little garbly. Can you say some of that again? Because I couldn't hear it.
Yeah, actually, do you want to give me just 1 second to make sure I can check with everybody that they're not using the internet for stuff downstairs?
Yeah. You go do that, and Mike and I will talk about this thing. Mike, how's your battery on your phone?
Let me take a look. I'm going to black out for a second.
Okay.
I'm at about 50%,
Okay.
so not too terrible.
Yeah, especially if you're at 65 at the start.
Yeah.
Okay, so, yeah, so you like that love story, right?
I did, yeah. But I like the idea of him being the younger Ed Harris because I was not expecting it. And
yeah, I wasn't expecting it. I'm okay with it, but I would have loved to have, I feel like I wanted more of that love story to be worked back into it.
I kind of feel like there were traces of it throughout. Like there were a number of times where she could have easily just killed him.
Yeah.
And I think that's what has kept her from doing it. You know, because like she puts him in these kind of like not even really hell situations, but more like limbo. You know, throughout the series, there are different points where she could have just snuffed him out. And she kind of goes, no, I'm going to leave you here to suffer. And it's kind of like she's like, in a way, she's trying to fight his programming too.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It
like
does make sense. But that is also, I would have loved to see that explicitly as the focus of the show. Like,
right.
Like she's helping him overcome. He thinks he's helping her overcome her programming, and in reality, even though he's human, she is actually helping him escape his programming, which is really fascinating to me. You know, like if that was the full focus of the show.
Yeah, I think they're kind of saving a lot of that for the end.
Maybe.
I think they're getting close to the end. I don't believe that they're going to end up together, but I believe that like I think a lot of people are waiting for him to get this big comeuppance where he dies, and I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think he's going to get a big comeuppance where he lives, but as a much better man than he has been.
I can only hope for that because that is what ruined the Star Wars sequel trilogy for me.
Which part?
The Kylo Ren not having to live with his consequences. You know that.
Right.
You know that he does the big face turn, then he dies, then he's out of it. And then Rey is on her own. I would have much preferred to see the two of them together as both light and dark side of the Force, trying to work their shit out as like one person, basically. That would be way more interesting to me than what they ended up doing, you know?
Yeah, that would have been... I would have been very interested in seeing them both in that final exchange about who lives here now, if it was Skywalkers rather than, you know, just one Skywalker, you know.
Right, because he would have had to take that name too because he's been Solo, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been really much better ending. There's a lot I would have changed about that one. I still overall enjoyed the film, but there's quite a lot that I was like, why would you make this choice, and why would you leave this hanging, and why even introduce this character this late in the series, you know?
Yeah, I really didn't. I really didn't like the last one. It did make the because I was feeling weird about Last Jedi. And I was like, did Last Jedi suck? And then after Rise of the Skywalker, I was like, Last Jedi didn't suck. I mean, shit on Rian Johnson for whatever. At least he made some choices that like were like a story I hadn't seen before. You know, like
and he definitely left it open-ended enough where it's like, okay, if you don't like what I did, you can easily course correct from here.
Yeah.
And that's where it seemed like they were going, and it really just kind of fell apart all over the place.
They course corrected the wrong way, because to me, the only interesting thing about the sequel trilogy was Kylo Ren and Rey.
They just read the room so wrong, and like, I'm not really sure how they read it that wrong, you know? Like, I don't know.
I don't get
routes they were going to, you know?
It was just a really, I mean, a lot of people don't like the Reylo stuff, but to me, it was it was such a compelling idea. A dark side guy, a light side girl, they love each other, they're into each other, like, and they treat each other like shit. Fascinating. You could do that for 3 movies for sure. You know, like,
and just the idea of them going, if you look at the past, nothing that the Jedi and the Sith have done was successful. We're the last of them. Let's build something new. That would have been
amazing, right?
Yeah.
And it would have been timely right now to what's going on in the world. You know?
Yes. Let's put aside our differences and we'll create something new together. I will have to live with the fact that I killed my father and I killed all these people and all this shit. And then you will have to live with the fact that you suck as a character.
Well, I think that for her, because she didn't feel, you know, she's brought up as this kind of orphan, and all of a sudden learning that she was a Skywalker, to in essence betray that gift of identity, you know, in order to make a new thing with this new guy that she met. I can see how that would be, at least for a person, their own personal conflict, you know? I mean, maybe it's not as rich and complicated as Kylo. Kylo, that's his name. I feel like I'm mashing up.
You did it.
But Rey was a Palpatine, not a Skywalker.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. But I meant that. Yeah. I meant, but with being, I think I meant more with being given the gift from Luke of being a Jedi. I think that's more what she was given, that gift of identity of you can find yourself here, and that's what bugged me, is that at the end I felt like she stuck with that, and that's what won. And they made it like, look, the good guys won, which through 9 movies has been a message that it's about balance, not about one kicking the other's ass, you know?
Yeah, and honestly, I wasn't trying to shit talk her character that much, because in her scenes with Kylo, she's fantastic in them, you know, and her character is fantastic.
Him to be compelling, and I find that, I mean, that's what bugs me about her completely, is she doesn't get anything until there's someone to
it's the scenes where she's she's not doing her scenes with Luke are great, and her scenes. Her Force-based scenes are fascinating to me. It's just when you step away from that and then other people are like, whoa, you're incredible, that you're like, what the fuck is this? It doesn't work without the other scene. It works with the scenes. It works when you have her being like, yeah, I'm this hero, and then she's like fucking like DMing this fucking dude, you know, that is like a piece of, you know, like that's great.
Yeah. There was a similar problem in Devs. I don't know if you guys watched the Alex Garland show that was on, what was it, FX, I think, recently?
No, I heard it was really good, though. People have recommended it.
But I gotta say, the payoff was not like, saw the payoff coming, and then it was even in itself, I don't know, the stakes felt a little almost manufactured. I really don't want to spoil it because it's still out there and people could go watch it. But it had that issue with the main character was literally every episode, somebody is like turning to someone and going, she's just so incredible. This girl, there's just something about her. And every scene that she's in, she's flat. She has no character. She's even, and this is like, I don't want to tie the two together, but she's even like androgynous looking. So even you can't even really get this read on like, you're all, what are people responding to? Because if like she was, I've heard people, you know, talk up women who are total foxes before. And then you're like, no, she's really not that smart. But this is something where I'm like, I don't know what anyone's responding to because she has like,
yeah, there's no excuse for this praise.
Yeah, she's got a very flat affect. She's not physically traditionally attractive at all. And I mean, just lots of stuff about her it doesn't, and every single episode, somebody is commenting on like, I don't know what it is about that girl, but she's magic. And like, and by the end, you're like, I don't buy it just because you've told me in every
Maybe it's that I was written to say that, but I feel like there's something special about her.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe it's something in my programming, but yeah, but that's exactly it, is that she just by the end, and then by the end, it's like she gets kind of her, like, you know, her arc or whatever. And I just feel like, okay, like I don't care about this person, but she's the whole main character. And I thought even maybe there would be some cheeky addressing of her weird flat affect, and it doesn't. It's like at the end, they're like, you love her, right? And I'm like, once again, read the room. Like, I don't think anybody likes her, you know?
Yeah, isn't that interesting? And then you look at a film like Suspiria, where a person is given all this power by the end of the movie, but you're like, well, fuck, she's cool as shit, you know? But no one's like, people are saying, oh, you're very talented, but no one's like, wow, look at how cool she is. They just show you her doing crazy stuff, you know? I don't know.
And I'd always much rather that, you know?
Yeah. Mike,
I would
if you
much
got
rather
a chance
be
to see
shown
that
than
movie,
told.
have you seen Suspiria yet?
Have I? No.
It's for real. I think it's on Prime now.
I think so.
I would definitely check it out. I think you'd really, really like it.
I will.
So
now.
let's go. I didn't watch a lot of stuff. I've been playing a lot of video games, but I haven't been watching a lot of movies.
What games are you playing?
On the games, so we can let's shelve that one just for a sec, just so we can talk about games and we talk about games. I saw Devs. I saw this movie called it's called Antrum, and I had heard a lot about it, that it's got this kind of, it has this mythos of being like a cursed film, and it's a little Blair Witchy in that when it came out, it was supposed to come out as like, oh, it's this rare copy of the film that's never been seen and no one's actually screened it before and da-da-da-da. But I don't know. I just found it a little underwhelming. I mean, it's a cool curiosity. So if you're really into horror movies and stuff, it's shot like it's bookended with like a documentary, and then the middle is like the real film or whatever. But it's done as, it was this cursed film that came out, and every time they've tried to screen it, something happened, like the building burned down or something like that. But then they're going, but then also someone rediscovered a cut of the film and spliced into scenes of what appears to be like, at least, you know, a narratively cohesive movie. There are these weird spliced in shots of what looks like a snuff film. So it kind of has this extra level of like, well, is any part of this real? And I mean, obviously, like, you can look it up on IMDb. The whole thing is a production, but it's just kind of, I thought it was cool. I love things that go through that extra layer of like sort of padding reality to where they do it so convincingly that you're really at a certain point going like, okay, I have to check this out and find out whether or not this really happened. But the problem is that the actual core like film that's supposed to be like the cursed film is just a little weak and a little heavy-handed with stuff like the stuff that's supposed to be spooky. Like there's weird overcuts of like all of a sudden there'll be like, for one frame there'll be like a demon sigil like scratched onto the frame, but it's just so over the top where it's like, yeah, of course you have like the sigil of Baphomet, like I'm supposed to be scared because that's spooky and devil, and you know, it's just that kind of thing where it's a little too like dink, you know. I still thought it was a really cool concept and fairly well executed. for what they were trying to do with it being like this secretive thing. And it's out on Amazon and you can watch it. But it is funny because it has, as much as I don't really think of myself as a superstitious person, but as I was watching this, I'm like, I am knowingly going into watching a cursed film with like, you know, a whole porn, like all happy about it. So I hope this isn't real. I haven't died yet.
It's probably not real. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say probably not. Probably not.
But what if it is, Andrew?
But what if? Maybe, yeah.
I mean,
The first screen just went black right now.
It could be. You never know. You never know, man.
And I think that is what I probably saw only because of the lockdown, because I've been reading lots of like listicle things, you know, and I love things that make me feel petulant. Like I usually don't fall for clickbait, but if it's something like 10 horror movies we guarantee you've never seen, I'm like, oh, fucking try me, bitch. You know, like, try me. Yeah. And then sometimes I find that the movies are on there, like I watch them and I'm like, you just put this on the list because it's garbage and nobody's seen it. It's not like it was some secret thing that like I really needed to see, you know?
Howard the Duck is not a horror movie. You
Exactly.
I always fall for the clickbait articles that are like, only super smart dudes can click all the way to the end of this article.
Yeah. Only geniuses can get
yeah, well, we'll see. Maybe I will be able to get to the end of this article.
That's so funny. Okay, I've got another good one if you guys are ready.
Well, let's do it.
This is from
and then,
yes.
We might need to end this episode in a few minutes.
Okay.
To do the next episode. Okay. You know?
I didn't want to do this episode anyway.
I'm done with this episode.
Well, we're trying to get in like 45, 50 minutes,
gotcha.
Right? Is that
back to the old schedule or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is from Rich, apparently a hobby magpie, who is at Richard_B1 at Twitter. Okay. And he says to us, and I like this. I like the frame. I don't know why. This tickles me. Who would you want to direct your autobiographical movie? M. Night Shyamalan, Michael Bay, or Rob Zombie? Those are your choices.
Why wasn't Glenn Danzig on this?
Right? You bull. Oh
Glenn Danzig can play you in your autobiographical movie.
Oh God!
I love that assortment. Like it would be down to those three. Like you were like, oh, I just can't. I'm not sure.
Michael Bay, M. Night Shyamalan, and who else?
Rob Zombie.
Rob Zombie.
I'm going to say, because I just watched House of a Thousand Corpses the other day, and I will not deny how much I love that movie. I'm going to say Rob Zombie. Yeah, for sure. But like that era. I don't want the new stuff. I want the House of a Thousand Corpses era.
Yeah, that's okay. But have you seen Glenn Danzig's Veronica?
No.
You have to see it.
What happens in it, Andrew?
He hired porn stars so they would show their titties, but he makes them all talking French accents.
Oh,
bro,
no.
you gotta see this motherfucking thing.
While they clean his house.
No, it's a horror movie. It's horror vignettes that he has come up with.
I love the anthology vignette movie. Those are the best.
Well, this is not a good one.
Not a good one. Yeah.
Forgets he directs it and does the cinematography, and so there's like scenes where he's like, I kind of don't know what's going on in this scene, so I'm just gonna hover the camera around these titties, back over this bucket of blood, and then back to these titties again. Yeah,
it's like when a kid makes their own haunted house.
Yeah, it's just like that. It is like when a kid does a pretty good job.
It's pretty good.
Right.
Oh, peeled grapes, eyeballs. Yeah, cool. Got it. All right.
Put on this blindfold, you guys.
What do you use that intestines? What do you think?
I'm going to go with Michael Bay just because of the production value that he would put on my life.
I could have called that.
Yeah.
But it's going to be all purple and orange. It's going to be all like teal and orange.
Oh, yeah, and I'll have a French accent, and it will have nothing to do with anything that I've ever done, but I will accept it as canon for my life, whatever the fuck it is.
Then I'll pick M. Night Shyamalan, and the Shyamalan twist will be at the end when I'm saying goodbye to the audience. It slow zooms out, and I'm fucking my own butt in doggy style. There's two of me.
What a
Wow.
twist!
CGI
While looking at
together.
a reflection of you fucking your own butt, doggy style.
Yeah, that's exactly what it'd be like, and I'll say bye now,
Take care now.
and then it'll freeze frame just like it did in Unbreakable, and say the rest of the movie to me. With fucking text on the screen. Dude, I got so mad at the end of Unbreakable. It built up and built up and built up, and then it freeze frames, and it's like, here's the other cool shit that didn't happen.
And something exploded. You're
We
like,
didn't want to waste any budget on this part, so
Oh,
Imagine.
God. I almost threw my soda at the fucking screen. I was so mad. I was like, let's get the fuck out of here. You know?
I liked it for yours though that all that could happen is the text would say, and then Andrew came.
Yep. That would be my autobiography. Wait, no, my biography. It wouldn't be an autobiography.
And then other Andrew took a shower.
Before he was resorbed into the first Andrew, so he could experience both sides of the fucking.
Or things went time cop rules and they both turned into a flesh blob and exploded.
No, that's not how it ends, Mike.
no, I don't like that.
I got knock on wood, though.
In case that ever occurs,
Yeah, I just did. I just knocked on wood to keep it away from me.
to keep from turning into a flesh blob when you find your clone self to fuck.
Yes. And it can't be like people are like, oh, that's like your twin. I'm like, no, magical clone is different than a twin. Okay?
And
Magical
Avery,
clone
you
is
thought
me.
you were superstitious.
Yeah, really.
Well, I mean, I do make a pentacle every time I hear a spooky noise in the house. I'll draw a pentacle in the air every single time.
Makes sense.
And I
Yeah,
also
it's proactive.
say my prayers still before I go to sleep.
Now I
Which is,
lay me down to sleep.
I don't do that one. I do the
What pagan do you pray to? What?
I do the I do the Sandman song. I do all the weird.
Sandman,
Sandman.
bring me a dream.
No, I do. Hush, little baby, don't say a word. I never mind that noise you heard.
I really wish Avery was right and that it was the old timey Mr. Sandman Bring Me a Dream song.
Yeah, but all fast and scared. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Make it the cutest
Bring me
one
that I've ever seen.
No, I just do it to the universe, man. I just do it to the universe.
That,
I'm not laughing
that's your
at
new
you.
bumper sticker. I just
I
do it
just-
to the universe.
I do it to the universe, man.
You guys are in it. You guys are in it every night. I say a little prayer for you, motherfuckers.
Say a little
Why?
prayer for me.
Yeah, every single night I have.
You do not.
I do. I
He
swear.
does. Because
How do
this
you
isn't
know,
the first
Avery?
time I've heard, because this isn't the first time you've told me that. And I just don't
That's
think
true.
like you try that bit again, you know?
No,
if you
it's
guys
true.
are praying for me so much, why is my life the way it is?
Right? Well, that's not a good, it's done.
Well, I'm just praying for your protection. Maybe I should up it. Up the stakes a little bit.
That is true. I'm miserable, but I'm safe.
Exactly, right?
Okay,
Yeah, you
your
guys
prayers
are-
are obviously working.
Well, there we go. So yeah, I do that. That's superstitious. Was that the question?
No, not at all.
We got to wrap up this episode so we can hop into the next episode. How many minutes you got?
Then, real quick, then before we wrap up, I just want to toss this out because we have one of our subscribers is saying, Dustin Lee at D Dustin Lee says he hopes we're all doing well during the crazy times. He would like a shout out to his little brother Evan, who's a recent subscriber. Yay,
Hey, Evan.
Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, Evan?
Yeah, he just had a birthday this weekend, as in I believe July 4th-ish. So whenever this
Oh,
airs,
that's cool.
happy belated birthday, Evan.
Happy birthday.
Happy
Here's-
birthday.
Cheers. I was gonna have
What
this
is-
anyway, but this one.
What are you drinking? What is that?
This is rosé. I couldn't be more like SoCal right now. I'm over 30. I have to drink rosé. It's a rule.
It doesn't make your nose get all stopped up?
I mean, I've never noticed that in specific. Maybe I should pay attention.
Those sulfites in that white wine mix always get my nose all clogged. Anyway,
Sulfites.
yeah,
There's your health tip. Check for sulfides.
yeah, sulfite-free wine is hard to find. So we got some more questions. We're going to do
We
those
still
on the
got
next
tons of
episode.
questions, guys. Tons.
Mike, do you what is the percentage of your phone?
Let me check. 40-ish.
Okay, I
Let's
think we can
give
get
it a
through another
shot.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can do
All
it
right,
until
guys.
I phase out, and then you guys can keep going if you want.
Okay, so this is questions and answers, Power Pals 1, and we are stopping now.